Hi there, it's Ron Gula from GULATECH Adventures. Today we're going to talk about the cyber poverty line. If you're not familiar with myself or GULATECH, we invest in cybersecurity startups and we run competitive grants for cybersecurity nonprofits, trying all to protect the nation's cyberspace. Now, a couple of years ago, we wrote a blog on something I talk about a lot in my public speaking, which is the cyber poverty line. I've modified this a little bit from Wendy Nather, who's talked about cyber poverty line. I've tried to redefine it a little bit and actually make it more about hunting and hygiene than just hygiene. A lot of organizations say that the minimum you need to do are the basics, right? Two-factor authentication, patching, know your assets, that sort of thing. I really want to tell people that is not enough. You really need to also be looking for intruders that are out there. You need to have both hygiene and hunting, and if you have neither, you are below what I consider the cyber poverty line. So hygiene, of course, is knowing what you have and how you're protecting it. We've done videos and blogs and talks on the NIST cybersecurity framework, the Cyber Readiness Institute's recommendation for small business. I've even talked about the Center for Internet Security's different scopes for starting out and protecting your network. That's all great, but without looking for failure, which is kind of nobody wants to plan for failure, you have to assume that these defenses that you're making, that somebody is going to get through them. If the past 20, 30 years have taught us anything about cyberspace, every time we have a new defense, the attackers figure out new ways to exploit it. So hunting is a process where you are reviewing your logs, looking for activity, looking for stuff that shouldn't occur, and you're doing this on a near real-time and continuous basis. You have to assume that the attackers are going to get through. Now, this is beyond the capability for a lot of small business, so I tell people who are worried about this, they should work with somebody they trust, such as their outsourced IT organization, and see what else they could be doing. Do they have other technology, products, services, reviews that can be done to find evidence of precursors of attacks, or perhaps people who are being stealthy on your network and exfiltrating your data, right now. So this might mean you have to spend more money or get smart with a new product. It could also mean that you just want to change how you're doing business and what you're logging. So again, being compliant is not the end all. This is only half of the story. You have to assume that being compliant, you are going to make it harder for the adversary to attack you, but they will, if you are a target, do this and compromise your network and do evil things. The last thing I want to say is that if you really think about how large enterprises do this, they simulate attacks with red teams. They're continuously trying to make sure that their defense apparatus, their detection apparatus, their security operations centers are tuned and configured because they're very complex with lots of different people, lots of different parts of technology. As a small business, you should do this too. You should tabletop. You should ask yourself, what would happen if the CEO's email got compromised? What would happen if there was stealthy malware on perhaps an intern's computer? A lot of more and more managed service providers, managed detection and response providers are offering the ability to do simulated adversary emulations. You should absolutely do this, because if you're not going to do it on a regular basis, it's going to be really hard to rely on the fact that you might have to be compromised someday and respond to that compromise. Now, once again, check out the blog on Gula.tech for the cyber poverty line. And again, that's hunting and hygiene is both needed to be secure in cyberspace. If this video was interesting, please go to Gula.tech. We've got 4 or 5 years of blogs, videos, and of course our entire portfolio of cybersecurity nonprofits and cybersecurity startups. Thank you very much for watching.